In fact, you went into detail.
Sir, I believe it talks
contract.
about lobbying. I did no lobbying. On top of
In
that,
your
they are
testimony,
not government.
I'm not asking about lobbying, Mr. Cohen.
They are not government agencies.
Do you have foreign
publicly
contracts?
traded companies.
Do you have foreign contracts?
I currently have no foreign contracts.
Did you have foreign contracts over the last 2 years?
Foreign contracts.
Contracts with foreign entities. Did you have contracts? Yes.
Yes.
Why didn't you put them on the form? It says it's a criminal offense to not put them on this form for the last 2 years. Why did you not do that?
Because those foreign companies that you're referring to are not government companies.
It says non-governmental, Mr. Cohen. You signed it.
They're talking about me as being non-governmental.
And right, it says foreign agency. It says foreign contracts. Do you want us to read it to you?
I read it, and it was reviewed by my counsel, and I am a non-government employee. It was not lobbying, and they are not foreign.
This has nothing to do with lobbying. It says it's a criminal offense to not list all your foreign contracts. That's what it says.
Well, then I'm going to take a look at it before I leave.
No, you've heard it.
I will, and hopefully I will amend it prior to leaving, because that's not the way I read your document.
You know, it's just one more example, Mr. Cohen, of you skirting the truth. Okay, I want to ask one other question. One other question, Mr. Cohen. It's my time, not yours. Were you advised, or was your counsel advised, to withhold your written testimony to the latest possible date, as John Dean said last night on CNN?
Was it my what?
Were you advised, or was your counsel advised, to withhold your written testimony to this committee at the latest possible date, to get it to this committee at the latest possible date, as John Dean said that he advised you? Yes or no?
No. He
never advised you.
John Dean? I've never spoken with John Dean.
Has he spoken to your attorney?
I don't know. I've never spoken to John Dean.
Well, ask your attorney. He's right there behind you.
We were working last night till 11, 12 o'clock at night.
You've known that you've been coming for some time.
You may answer the question. Answer the question.
You've been watching continuous coverage of the Michael Cohen hearing before Congress. We're going to take a quick break here to bring you News 3 at noon. Just to recap what's going on, though, in D.C., President Trump's former personal lawyer, Michael Cohen, is spending the day before lawmakers. Cohen did not mince words about the president during his opening statement to the House Oversight Committee, calling him a racist, con man, and cheat. Among his potentially incriminating claims that President Trump reimbursed Cohen for hush money paid to adult film actress Stormy Daniels after Mr. Trump became president, and he showed a copy of the check he claims is from President Trump's personal bank account to back up his claim.
I'm visiting President Trump in the Oval Office for the first time. He says to me something to the effect of, "Don't worry, Michael. Your January and February reimbursement checks are coming."
Cohen is set to go to prison in May in connection to both the hush money payments and for lying to Congress in 2017, making his testimony today suspect. He also claims longtime Trump advisor Roger Stone gave then-candidate Donald Trump a heads up that WikiLeaks' Julian Assange planned to release hacked Democratic National Committee emails that would damage Hillary Clinton's campaign. Roger Stone responded today saying Mr. Cohen's statement is not true. Meanwhile, President Trump has wrapped up his first meeting with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un in the capital of Vietnam. Today's talks were relatively short, about a half an hour, followed by what the White House is calling a social dinner. The real work begins tomorrow with a day full of talks. North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un spoke highly about the president for agreeing to the summit, and he said there has been a lot of patience since their last summit last summer.
We had a very successful first summit. I felt it was very successful, and some people would like to see it go quicker. I'm satisfied, you're satisfied. We want to be happy with what we're doing.
The first summit ended with a vaguely worded commitment from the North Koreans to denuclearize, but exactly what that means is a challenge the two sides still have to work out. Turning to weather now, meteorologist Dave Caulfield is standing by in the First Alert Weather Center. A little more snow today.
Yes, the snow is wrapped up for the time being. We're looking at mostly cloudy skies this afternoon, but we did pick up about an inch of snow in Madison overnight. We could see on Doppler track. That snow still out there for some of us closer to Manitowoc and Sheboygan, north of Fond du Lac. But for southern Wisconsin, that snow has wrapped up for the day. Live look in Madison on the WISC-TV Skycam at mostly cloudy skies. Currently 18 degrees, still registering as light snow at the airport, but I think that is not exactly what is happening on the ground. North-northwest wind at 14 miles per hour, making it feel like 4 degrees outside. Temperatures are in the upper teens and low 20s across southern Wisconsin, but wind chill still well in these single digits, so this chilly weather is persisting. We can see a little bit of blue sky on the Edgewater Skycam. Temperatures are falling through the teens later on today after reaching highs right around 20, and we will be off to another cold start as we head into Thursday. We'll talk about some possibly breaking cold, record daily lows on the way for this weekend in your first alert forecast in just a few minutes.
Dave, hits keep coming, right?
Yep, sorry.
All right, we'll see you in a few minutes. We are hoping to learn more about the Madison man arrested after a standoff at a retirement community on the city's west side. Police were called to the area of Schrader Road and Struck Street around 11 o'clock last night by the man who was worried that people were out to get him. The man ran away when officers got there and broke a window to get into Prairie Park Senior Apartments. Inside, he briefly choked a female employee. She was able to escape and lock herself in a room. The man then armed himself with a kitchen knife and made suicidal statements while police negotiators talked with him for several hours. The man was taken into custody peacefully and taken to the hospital for self-inflicted wounds. Rescue crews are searching for dozens of workers trapped inside an illegal mine. At least 4 people have died at the site, but rescuers have rushed more than a dozen survivors to a nearby hospital after they were pulled from the rubble. The illegal gold mine collapsed on a remote Indonesian island about 1,000 miles from Indonesia's capital. Unstable, muddy conditions have caused a landslide, and heavy rescue equipment cannot reach the remote location. Indonesia has a lot of unlicensed mining sites, with thousands reportedly working in high-risk conditions. Authorities say safety regulations are frequently ignored. Parents in southwest Wisconsin will have an opportunity to ask questions about why their kids' class sizes are getting bigger. The Iowa Grant School District says they're increasing class sizes, believing it'll help the district test scores. They believe cutting class sections from 4 to 3 in grades K4 through 3rd grade will free up a teacher to do other things, like give more support to underachieving students. The district says they believe it's the best way to use their limited resources, but there's been some pushback online from parents. Those who have questions can ask them at this afternoon's school board meeting, which is open to the public. It starts at 4:30 in the school's library. And Dane County's Park Commission is looking to accept a $146,000 grant to resurface the Capital City State Trail. A 6-mile stretch of the trail between Fish Hatchery and Seminole Highway was fixed up last year. The work also included new warning signs at crossings. This grant money would go toward that rehab. And there's more to come on News 3 at noon. Up next, we'll see what Howard's working on in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
Barbecue chicken in the middle of February? You bet. We have a goof-proof method, and you won't even have to light the grill. If the winter blues are starting to get you down, I have an idea. How about making a summertime barbecue favorite for dinner tonight? You don't need to light the grill because the one we're making is done in a skillet and is super easy. We start by sauteing some chopped onion and garlic in some butter. Once it's tender, we add some cut up chicken that we season with a bit of salt, and we'll let those brown up. While that's doing its thing, we mix together some tomato sauce, steak sauce, brown sugar, Worcestershire sauce, hot pepper sauce, and a little chili powder. Once the chicken is browned, this goes over it, and we'll let it simmer until it's cooked through and the sauce starts to thicken. Now would be a good time to throw some sweet corn and a can of beans on to cook. When it's done, are you ever in for a treat? You see, as the sauce simmers, it actually infuses the chicken so every bite is lip-smacking good. So here's what I suggest. Go to our website and check out the recipe for skillet barbecue chicken as a way to shoo away the winter blues. I'm Howard in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found an indoor-outdoor kind of way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
All right, Howard, thank you. Coming up on News 3 at noon, a little sunshine. It follows the light snow overnight. Dave Caulfield, there's your first alert forecast when we come back. Our Call for Action phone bank is open right now, ready to take on your consumer issues. You can call our hotline. Volunteers will help you with any consumer complaints. The number 608-270-2833. The service open every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday between 11 and 1. Let's check Wall Street at the noon hour. The Dow Industrials down 74 points. The NASDAQ and S&P 500 also both in negative territory. Let's check in now with Q106 Farm Director Pam Yankee on this Wednesday. How are you today?
Not bad, not bad. At least the sun's kind of out there this afternoon, so that's one positive part about Wisconsin's weather. The rest, well, we'll wait and see. I'm sure that long, tall New York will be up in a minute with more details on that. Let's talk about what's happening in the markets today. So everybody's been buzzing about it. President meeting with North Korea's leader, I should say. We're also keeping an eye on developments with China. Old Sonny Perdue is trucking it all over Capitol Hill today. He's in front of a couple different committees that are asking him questions about implementation of the Farm Bill. Also, Scott Gottlieb, the Commissioner of the Food and Drug Administration, is testifying. We're focused in on that for plant-based products and also labeling enforcement. And we've got Bob Lighthizer testifying before Ways and Means today, and he's the one that agriculture is focused on with all these trade agreements. So a lot of developing news, shall we say, out in D.C. Right now, it's not doing a thing for us in the marketplace. Corn is trading lower on the midday. Wheat is trading lower. Soybeans are up about a nickel, both nearby and new crop. But again, they're keeping more of an eye on energy stocks, to be honest with you, since OPEC decided that they're going to lower their production levels just a little bit. That's where a lot of the trade's been focused. Our dairy markets are pretty doggone quiet today. Barrel cheese unchanged at 141. 40-pound block cheese unchanged at 161. The AA butter today is down a half a cent at 2.26 a pound. But my fluid milk contracts, thank goodness, are trading higher. In fact, now we only have to get out to July before we see fluid milk contracts that are breaking that $16 plateau in Chicago on fluid milk contracts, hopefully providing an ounce of opportunity, an ounce of optimism for our dairy segment. Like I said, I can't get through. I'm so ready to rip the tar out of my February calendar page when we get to Friday, buddy. This is just get me done with this stuff.
Glad you made it back from Green Bay. You're stuck up there.
Boy, oh man, yeah, and I'm just glad that I noticed that Nina situation before I was in it.
That was terrible. 130 vehicles. Yeah, awful. All right, well, March is almost here.
Oh, come on.
We'll march along. See you later. Yep. And Dave is here now with a look at our first alert forecast, but nothing too promising.
Unfortunately not. It really feels like February has lasted forever, and I think that's because I was doing some checking, and we've had at least a trace of rain or snow in February every day except for 3 days in February of 2019. So that could really contribute to how long the shortest month of the year has felt across southern Wisconsin. So here are the snow totals from last night's small snow event. Madison picking up an inch of snow, and that is significant, and I'll tell you why in just a second. But as we expected, the snow total is a little bit more robust to the north and east. Fond du Lac and Sheboygan each picking up about 5 inches of snow. But that inch of snow in Madison that we picked up at the airport overnight has moved us above normal for the entire snow season, now up to 51.5 inches of snow, and our average for a typical snow year is 50.9. So that's the first time that has happened in 5 years. Last time, 2013 to 2014 was when we were above average last, and that year we got about 60 inches of snow, and we still typically in March have about 7 inches of snow come our way in Madison, so we'll see if that materializes this time. We've also moved up to 5th place in Februaries as far as snowiest Februaries are concerned. And I think that is where we'll stay, although maybe a little bit of snow is possible for the last day of February tomorrow. I think any accumulating snow will fall on March 1st for Friday. So all of that coming up in just a bit. We notice on Doppler track that snow has moved off to the north and east, still affecting spots like Manitowoc into Sheboygan, but for southern Wisconsin, that snow is done for the time being. We're looking at mostly cloudy skies, but a little bit of blue sky and sunshine showing up, which definitely helps on a day like today on the Edgewater Skycam. Up to 19 degrees now in Madison, 23 in Janesville, 17 in Watertown, and 18 in Platteville. Still with that wind chill, it does feel like the single digits in Madison, close to 0, in fact, in Lone Rock, and 5 degrees in the Dells. And I wish we were talking about warmer weather, but we're talking about the polar opposite, pun intended, because we have polar air once again moving in for the weekend, and we're looking at possibly breaking some record daily lows on Sunday when temperatures get close to -10 in Madison. We could be looking at wind chills over the weekend of about -10 to -30 in spots. So very, very cold. We do see slightly warmer temperatures by the time we get into the middle and end of next week. Hopefully by the time we get to the middle of March, we can start talking about more typical temperatures. Now, on Future Track, we're noticing Temperatures reach their highs later this afternoon at about 20 degrees. We'll be in the low 20s. We will start to clear out tonight. That will allow temperatures to dip close to zero as we start Thursday. And a few flurries not out of the question on Thursday, but really nothing significant. As we head into Friday, some minor snow accumulations are possible for southern Wisconsin. So here is a look at your 10-day forecast this weekend. That's the big headline getter right there, because look at those temperatures, especially at night. We're talking about highs in the single digits and lows about 10 degrees below zero, and wind chills could be as low as 20 to 30 below starting off Monday morning. So that is pretty dangerous cold, unseasonable cold for sure.
All right, we'll get through it.
Yep.
Thank you, Dave. Well, we're about to meet an 8-year-old boy who loves running and even doing his homework, but he's one of the 30 million Americans living with a rare disorder. His family's hope for others. Next at noon. Well, the last day of February each year marks Rare Disease Day. It's estimated that 30 million Americans have a rare disease, so scientists and families want to raise awareness. Dr. Malika Marshall shares one family story.
I want to pick up red one right there.
Joey Tanella is a typical 8-year-old boy, having fun with his parents and sister.
I like to do homework, eat lunch, and snack.
He's among the millions of people in the U.S. living with a rare disease diagnosed at just 2 days old.
The doctor called me and they said we have to immediately bring Joey to the hospital. We had to immediately stop feeding him. During those days, his organs were failing. Essentially, his liver was failing.
Joey has galactosemia, which occurs in about 1 in 50,000 births. The rare genetic metabolic disorder is life-threatening because it affects the body's ability to process a sugar called galactose. The only treatment is to avoid foods that contain galactose or lactose found in all dairy products.
We believe that most of the babies that are not recognized in the newborn period
don't survive.
All babies in the U.S. are now screened for galactosemia, but Dr. Jared Berry at Boston Children's Hospital says even with early diagnosis and a restricted diet, patients can still suffer speech and motor skill delays and learning problems.
The goal of all of our research now is to try to understand what causes this and how we can improve the lives of these patients.
There are about 7,000 rare diseases in the U.S., and many of them, like galactosemia, have no FDA-approved treatments. That's something that researchers and families are hoping will change with more awareness and funding.
He does have developmental delays associated, primarily being speech.
The Tonellas say Joey's rare disease is just a part of who he is.
Joey is a hard worker. He loves running. He's very athletic. He doesn't give up, and I think he actually made both of us better people.
We want him to have the best possible life that he can, and he's having that right now.
They hope sharing their story will help other families with rare diseases feel less alone. Dr. Malika Marshall, CBS News, Boston.
And a disease is considered rare in the U.S. if it affects fewer than 200,000 people. All right, that's our time for now. Quick programming note. After this quick break, we're going to rejoin the Michael Cohen testimony. Have a great afternoon.